This plane has one of the worst glide ratios in all of general aviation.
That glide ratio is actually 7 to 1. For every foot that we drop down, we move forward 7 feet. So for a mile above the ground, we could glide within a 7-mile radius. For a Cessna 172, that's 9 to 1. For a DA-40, that's 11 to 1. So yeah, this airplane is pretty unforgiving. ForeFlight just released a new feature called Emergency Glide, and it's designed to answer the question most pilots dread: if the engine quits, where can I actually land? Understanding how this feature works and when to use it can hugely improve the safety of your flight.
So today we're putting it to the test in the one airplane that makes that glide range about as uncomfortable as possible. If you want to stack the deck in your favor on every flight, you're not going to want to miss this.
631 Bravo Whiskey White, tarmac a left and down departure, runway 12, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, left downwind departure, runway 12, 631 Bravo Whiskey.
Let's talk about why this new tool matters so much. Simply put, engines fail. Some estimates put the failure rate at around 1 failure for every 3,200 flight hours. According to the AOPA McSpadden Report, engine power plant failure is the #1 cause of en route accidents. But when you look at engine failure accidents specifically, roughly 9 out of 10 are survivable. The outcome is determined by what the pilot does in the first moments after the engine failure. That's why a place to land is always on my mind.
Teddy, I don't know about you, but like when I'm up in cruise like this, I'm pretty much always just like looking out the window playing the where am I going to go game.
Totally.
If
Could
the
I
engine
make that?
quits, yeah.
Could I make that field? Could I make that road? I could make that.
And this is what ForeFlight's Emergency Glide feature does, and a bunch more. Full disclosure, ForeFlight is a sponsor of this video, but as with all my other videos, I'll give you my honest opinion, and if I thought this feature sucked, I'd definitely say so. To set it up, on ForeFlight's map page, I tap the settings button and turn on Glide Advisor. Then, in the Aircraft tab, I put in my plane's best glide speed and glide ratio. And finally, in Downloads, I downloaded the Emergency Landing Geometry. First, let's walk through some of the details of what it does in a couple different scenarios, and then we'll put it to the test by simulating loss of power and gliding all the way to a challenging touchdown.
So this is like we're flying along here in cruise on our way to Vegas, and say something happened with the engine. First, we can see the glide ring. We know we see a couple airports in here. I think the glide ring on ForeFlight is supposed to take into account your GPS position, your speed, elevation in the terrain, and also the current winds as reported in like winds aloft.
That's handy.
We could press this airports button, which is the emergency glide feature. So when we press it, it identifies the 2 airports that we can glide to that are within our glide ring, and then it gives us information about the airports. It says Apple Valley, we would glide and arrive AGL, about 1,300 feet AGL if we turn to it now and glided there. And it's recommending runway 18, which is 6,500 feet long. And then it gives us information about the other airport. So I guess this is what it looks like when there are options for airports. It also has some color-coded stuff on here, which I'm going to kind of review a little bit later, but I'll mention it real quick. Like the roads are in orange and the power lines are in red. So that road would be an option. It's picking that out because it's a road without power lines. And now if I press Activate Glide, it shows me the direct route to Apple Valley, so I can turn that direction right away. And it tells us, updates the arrival AGL. It's constantly updating that. 600 feet AGL we would arrive. And then it gives us the CTAP frequency, so we don't have to search for it anywhere else, 1228. And it gives us the best glide speed of 86 knots, which I really think you should remember. This course is really cool. You can kind of see like what it would take to get directly to the airport. And then they've got a runway extended center line on there, which is really useful. In the case where the airport does have weather reporting, it gives you the weather here, VFR, clear below 12,000, then gives you like a little wind vector.
In case you were wondering, it will also recommend charted private or restricted airports as emergency landing options, along with showing preferred roads in orange and power lines to watch out for in red.
We saw what the emergency glide feature does when there's airports in range, both the public ones and the private ones, anything that's charted. But right here we can see that we are not in range. I do see like my glide ring shows that we're in range of a road, maybe some other terrain. I don't know. Let's see what happens when we press this airports for emergency glide. Boom. Okay, so look at this. The possible landing areas are in green, and I agree. There's a lot of possible landing areas. You look out, you have all these like, the desert floor basically. Some of it is going to be a little bit better than others, like the flat stuff. And you can see some of this stuff is grayed out here where it's not really flat, so it's helpful. The other really helpful thing is that we have the road, which is the interstate below us, really visible here. We don't have to pick through this like thin black lines or thick black lines. We can see the orange road. Boom, that's a really good spot too. And you can see the power lines. Sometimes it's hard to distinguish the black lines from power lines on the sectional versus the road. So this is really cool, man.
That's so useful. And I mean, I agree, like looking out here, all this terrain pretty much matches up to what we're seeing out the window. It's interesting because once you look at like a densely populated area, it kind of becomes like not suitable. Although there are like little patches here that you could aim for, but...
Yeah, because this is my home airport, I know that this is the golf course.
Yeah, totally.
I wonder, like, let's look at other golf courses that we know.
Yeah, where's the Santa Monica one? Well, there, I mean, there's Santa Monica Airport, there's one golf course, right?
Yeah.
That's the one that Harrison Ford landed on.
Beach is all
suitable.
Yeah.
After getting familiar with the emergency glide feature, I really wanted to test it in a simulated power loss scenario. As someone who's experienced a couple in-flight incidents, like the baggage door popping open and a jacket getting partially sucked out the door, I know how difficult it can be to get your brain back on track, filter, and process the essential information you need in the moment. Simplifying the emergency decision-making process and removing some doubt is where the emergency glide feature comes in clutch.
And I think if you have a tool like this where it eliminates some of the other work that you'd have to do to get to this conclusion, you've got more of a chance at a successful outcome.
And you don't have to guess, you can just kind of head there.
Those seconds matter, especially in an airplane with a 7-to-1 glide ratio.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, before we do this, just a disclaimer. If this were an emergency, I would do my emergency checklist. I'd check my fuel selector, my mixture, magnetos. I would do all that stuff. I'm not going to do that stuff because I'm really just going to concentrate on showing and exploring this emergency glide feature. All right, so we're in cruise up here, and then something happens to the engine. I'm just going to pull it back slow here. I'm pitching for best glide, which I know is 86. When I hit this airports button, I see in the glide ring there's a couple airports. I'm going to press airports. It's recommending Apple Valley. We'd arrive there 1,300 feet above the ground, and it's off my right here. I can see that. So I'm going to go ahead and activate it. It's recommending runway 18, but it isn't getting METARs. The runway's plainly long at 6,500 feet. I'm watching my airspeed. Activate the glide, and I'm going to turn to the airport. And it gives me the course there and extended center line on the runway. I think I'm going to try to intercept that extended center line. I see the airport over there. There is a road over there. If I decided the airport isn't good, it is showing me that road, but I think that runway is our best option. And I'm feeling high, but the glide ratio on this airplane is so bad. I'm going to come in a little bit high. I can always do like a forward slip and use my flaps to manage the energy. And it gives me the CTAP at 1228. I'm putting that in. Apple Valley traffic, November 631 Bravo Whiskey is going to land straight in, runway 18, Apple Valley. I'm just going to dump some flaps here and do some S-turns because we're really high. Let's not get too slow. That 86. Yeah, it's tricky, man. Apple Valley traffic, 631 Bravo Whiskey. We're on final, but we're doing some zigzags because we're practicing some emergency procedures, but we're straight in for 18, Apple Valley. I've got full flaps in and I'm doing some mess turns. I do like a big forward slip. And full flaps here. Just dive it down. Really lose that altitude.
500.
Looking back on this footage, the glide ring looked pretty accurate as far as predicting my available glide distance, and I'm excited to have this new feature as another card to stack the deck towards safety. If you want some more in-depth takeaways from this flight, come on over to the Flying Monkey Patreon, where I'll post some additional scenes. Thanks to all the Flying Monkey Patreon members for supporting this project. If you're not a member and you found this useful, please consider joining. Thanks for coming along on the journey with us.
That was pretty intense, dude.
Hey, but we made it.